Usually when we see videos about the Sopranos series finale, and Holsten's in particular, it's all about what happened to Tony. Today's video is going to be about some special Sopranos civilians, the ones we see at Holsten's. So right off the bat, when Tony walks into Holsten's and sits down, we see a couple of people that remind me of Meadow and or Janice, or almost a hybrid of some sort.
How you doing, Jan?
Good.
I'm my brother, I get a pass.
If you notice, there's also another girl sitting at the table who reminds me of a mix of Kelli Moltisanti and Meadow.
Hi. Thank you so much for inviting us. Sure. I'm so nervous looking for all these people.
This guy here actually reminds me of one of the Italian guys that comes over to do the hits and the attempted hit on Phil. Let's take a look at some of those other tables. Rocket Billy, whatever happened there. The Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts of America is one of the largest youth organizations in the United States. The Boy Scouts of America's stated purpose at its founding was to teach patriotism, courage, self-reliance, and kindred values. Each generation, as it comes to maturity, has no more important duty than that of teaching high ideals and proper behavior to the generation which follows.
Our sons, the future.
So we have these generations together, in particular, Tony and AJ, talking about remembering the good times and buck up, it's an entry-level job, and you're growing up, you're going to be an adult now.
It's a thing of honor.
And we can think of the Boy Scouts organization as a whole versus, say, that of La Cosa Nostra.
That would be my strength, that code. That's a soldier's oath.
It's not in your nature.
You don't know me. You don't know anything about me.
You're a nice guy, and that's a good thing, for Christ's sakes.
I think of the different paths that AJ and those Boy Scouts may go on. Members only jacket guy. We know that just because someone's wearing a jacket, that doesn't mean that that jacket necessarily belongs to them, or that it represents them in any way.
Huh? Perfect. You look like Robert Evans over there.
I mean, just look at Richie's full leather jacket. That sure made the rounds, huh?
Who are you?
From down the park.
He's good people, Adrian.
I took him home, he was all f***ed up, and I straightened him out.
Maybe this members only jacket was just making the rounds around town. Or maybe there's a connection.
Look at this guy. Members only?
It's interesting when we see AJ follow the members only guy as they walk in. Because remember, AJ wanted to get revenge. AJ wanted to have his moment. His members only moment.
You have a visitor. What? Anthony! My nephew. Take me home. I want to go home.
Nine!
AJ wanted to follow in those footsteps. Tony had to remind him that it's just a movie.
Well, you're a fucking hypocrite. Because every time we watch Godfather, when Michael Corleone shoots those guys in the restaurant, those assholes who tried to kill his dad, you sit there with your fucking bowl ice cream and you say it's your favorite scene of all time.
Jesus Christ, AJ. It's a movie. You gotta grow up.
Unidentified black males.
Instead, we're here when it's WAP whacking time in Brooklyn.
It should look like a carjack.
See? That's why you came nuts. That's some stereotyping shit.
You told me you had a boyfriend once who was killed, shot to death or something?
First of all, he was killed by drug dealers. African Americans, if that makes you feel any better.
What about these guys? What's their story? The man with the USA hat. The man wearing the USA hat makes me think of Made in America. But on the other hand, Sure, maybe this man does have a lot of American pride. But does American pride necessarily equal happiness?
It's good to be in something from the ground floor. I came too late for that. I know. But lately, I'm getting the feeling that I came in at the end. The best is over.
Many Americans, I think, feel that way.
They left all the American cars!
I think on the History Channel the other night on the American Revolution. You know we're the only country in the world where the pursuit of happiness is guaranteed in writing? Where's my happiness then?
It's the pursuit that's guaranteed.
Yeah, always a fucking loophole, right?
This young couple sitting in a booth. Is this young couple a version of Carmela and Tony? A young Carmela and Tony? Will they be back here in 20 or so years waiting for their own Meadow and AJ? What will become of them? Side note, remember Randall, Dr. Melfi's date from season 1, episode 4, Meadowlands? After he's beaten up by Detective Vin Makazian, Dr. Melfi goes over to his house because they're supposed to go out for dinner, and he tells her that he's paranoid, that he has this crazy idea that he's being followed, and that when he was in line at a shop, a man in a booth looked at him, and he freaked out and ran away. So I can't help but think of Holsten's, and Randall, really, when we think of these different people sitting in booths at Holsten's.
Faces look evil when you're alienated.
When he talks about people's faces looking evil when someone's alienated, that also makes me think of Tony, and how we see all these people, and you wonder what's going on in Tony's head, what he's thinking. But we do know they're all humans. And we know what comes with the package of the human condition. When we see Tony, Carmela, Meadow, and AJ walking in the door of Holsten's, are other people looking at them and wondering the same thing about what their stories are? We wouldn't necessarily be able to tell just from looking at them the deep trauma and dysfunctional, tough circumstances, AJ having recently attempted suicide, among a host of other things. You really just never know the stories that are underneath that first layer. It's the human condition. We don't want to go into the unknown not knowing, but that's exactly what David Chase does. I should note, by the way, that there's a theory that the series finale is a dream of Tony's. Of course, there are 1,000,001 theories about dreams and symbols in dreams, but some say that dreaming of a familiar face could represent a need to reconcile with that person. And we know that Tony sure has a lot of unfinished business. Some he may not even be consciously aware of. Anyway, we can jump down that rabbit hole another day, but I just wanted to note that for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this latest video.